Before we move on and look at our first tutorial, let's look at some aspects of creating geometry. I'm going to select File New, create a new file here, and let's go through the process of creating a line. I'll select the wireframe ribbon, and I'll choose the command line endpoints. Mastercam is going to open the line endpoints function panel, and the function panel is used to interact with you, to show you and give you options on how you want to create the entity. For example, you could force the line to be horizontal or vertical. You can allow it to be freeform, which is the current option, and you can choose the method. Do you want to construct it by choosing two endpoints? Do you want to start from the midpoint and stretch it out in both directions? Or do you want to create several lines that are connected by their endpoints? Mastercam is prompting me and asking me to specify the first endpoint. Now, there are multiple ways to enter the coordinates of where you want to place the line. We can, for example, simply sketch a line. I can left click anywhere on the graphics screen, stretch out a line of any length I want, and left click to end the line. And in this case, Mastercam will show me the length and the angle. I can use the existing points of existing geometry to start the first endpoint of my next line if I wish. So for example, maybe I'll pick up the endpoint of this line and I'll left click, and then I'll drag down a vertical line. And currently Mastercam is giving me the auto cursor tip that is popping up to the right side of my mouse, indicating that I am creating a vertical or horizontal line. If I stretch it out to the left, you'll notice we can create a horizontal line as well. In fact, I'll left click to place that there. I can select the endpoint of this new line, drag down a vertical line here, and do the same thing to create some geometry. I can use the OK and create new operation to remain in the create line endpoint command. And now let's create a line knowing the endpoint coordinates. So to make a line knowing the two endpoint coordinates, we're going to go up to the auto cursor toolbar here and select the auto cursor fast point button. And the auto cursor fast point button is going to bring up this coordinates entry field that will allow us to enter the x, y, z values of the endpoint of the line using comma delimited values. So we're going to enter an x coordinate, comma, a y coordinate, comma, a z coordinate. And any coordinate that we don't enter will assume to be either 0 or the last coordinate that we entered. So in this case, we'll select or type 0, comma 1 and hit enter, and Mastercam is going to start my line at x0, y 1 inch. Now I'll drag it out and I can go by length and angle, or I can enter my second endpoint by also using the fast point method. So the fast point method can be accessed here by clicking on the auto cursor fast point button, and it can also be accessed by pressing the space bar on the keyboard. So if I press the space bar, we'll type in 2.5 comma 1, and that just created a line that's 2.5 inches long and is horizontal since we entered the two endpoints. Now I want to create another line. I can start it by picking up an existing point on the screen, or I could also type in those coordinates using the fast point mode. Here I'll select it, I'll drag out the line and just click to place it, but now I can go and adjust the dimensions since the line is live. I'll make it 1.5 inches long and put it at 45 degrees. So we'll accept that line by pressing OK and New. We'll adjust the graphics view a little bit and we'll create a second line. We'll drag it out and give it a new size. And then we look at our print and we discover, I'm going to press OK, we discover that the 45 degrees is actually supposed to go down the opposite direction. No problem, I can actually go to my quick access toolbar up here and select undo, and I'll do that action twice to undo the last two lines. Now I can select create line endpoints again, and I'll drag my line down the opposite direction, and we can see that that's pretty close to 315. But what if we didn't know that? What if we just needed to know that it was 45 degrees off of horizontal? In that case, we can actually do math in here. So we can say minus 45, and it'll adjust the angle. We can also do sorry, that was just typing in a value, but we can do the math. We can say 360 minus 45 and get 315. And we'll set the length to 1.5, press OK and New, and then we'll create our horizontal line, and then we'll create our horizontal line and make it 3 inches long. Select OK.